What's up, guys? So got a rainy day here, so we thought that we'd tackle an issue I've been having with the 80 series Landcruiser. So obviously this is a US spec model, so I've got the 1FZ in there. Since I bought the truck, the engine has been amazing, super clean, super tight, but I've gotten a whine noise that I've had since I bought the truck, and I really put it off. Didn't think it was a big deal. Doesn't affect the way the truck drives. At first I thought it was the water pump, and after kind of doing some more investigating, I kind of realized it wasn't the water pump. I just turned the truck on, stuck my ear as close to the fan as I could get it without losing a chunk of my ear, and could hear that it was coming from near the alternator. So my first instinct was that it was the idler pulley. So that was the first thing I was going to tackle. I did go ahead and buy a water pump and thermostat just to have on hand. Wasn't cheap, and the idler pulley wasn't cheap either. I only buy Toyota parts, so this is the part number right here for the idler pulley. So that was going to be the first thing I wanted to do, because as you guys know, if I were to replace the water pump, I'd have to actually drain the coolant out of the truck, which I've already done a flush in the past 6 months, and I didn't want to do another flush. So I've actually already got the old one removed. It's actually in really good condition. It looks good. However, you can hear just a slight whine. So actually, it turns out I started the truck without the idler pulley. You don't actually need these. A lot of guys on mud will tell you that they don't run them, but just to keep the engine how it was made by Toyota, I'm going to run it. So wasn't cheap, but turns out when I started the truck, the noise was completely gone. So I'm going to walk you guys through really quick how to just swap this out. It's super minimal. You don't need to undo anything or loosen anything really. And then we'll start the truck up, and I'll do a before and after video of what it sounds like. So super excited that this fixed the problem. Here's the new one right here from Toyota, so you can see it's just pretty much silent. So let's slap this in there, and we'll see how it sounds. So we're actually going to torque this down at 32 foot-pounds. All right, let's get going. All right, guys, so we got the 1FZ right here. Let's take a look down, so you can actually see where the idler pulley is going to come from. So it's actually going to be that little hole right there. I've already removed it, as you can see, so there's a little space. Let's see if I can get it to focus on that. Okay, so right there. So as you guys can see, it's going to be right there. So right now we don't have it in the truck. It's very easy to remove, so I'll actually go over the tools you need to remove it. So all you're going to do is take, I used a pretty long breaker bar right here. All right, so use this breaker bar to get it started, and all we used was a 14 millimeter. Anytime I do anything that involves taking something out of the block or something involving the engine or the suspension or the drivetrain, I always use 6-point sockets. I just can't risk stripping a bolt or a nut on the 1FZ. So I highly recommend you pick up some 6 points, and then this breaker bar did the job. So it's just on this engine, it was just a lefty loosey, righty tighty. I checked first on the new one before I did it. So as you can see on the threads here, get to focus. These threads are normal lefty loosey, righty tighty. So just check that just to make sure. Maybe some of the European ones can be different, but easy to just get it broke with the breaker bar, and also it allows you to not have to reach down in the engine bay and then undo it with the socket here. So that's all you'll need. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna get started with our hands first. So we'll go ahead and get it in there. All right guys, so we got it all torqued down. Pretty easy. I would say you can hand turn that bolt all the way up until you need to actually apply torque. So once it starts getting tight, you just take your torque wrench down there, and it's pretty easy. A couple turns, you'll get to 32 foot-pounds. But let's crank it up and see what it sounds like. All right guys, so I just want to give my initial feedback. Pretty easy. All you need is a ratchet and a 14mm socket, and then a torque wrench. So you could probably do this in about 10 minutes, do the swap. So I ran the truck before with the old either pulley. I ran the truck without an either pulley at all, which some people do, I read on Mud, and then I ran it with a brand new one. The difference between the old one and the new one was not significant. So I'll show you, and you'll be able to hear for yourself in the video. This part's about $75, $80 from Toyota, and that's with a discount. Obviously you can buy an aftermarket one, but for that amount of money, I probably don't recommend making the swap. What I recommend doing is, if you're getting that whine noise that's bothering you, and you're just OCD like me, where any little noise, from being on the submarine, any little noise I hear is a trigger to me. So I try to fix it and hunt it down, and I can get pretty obsessed with it. So I knew, like I said in the beginning of the video, something was going on up there, but as you'll see, and as you can hear from the truck running with the new one, it's not much of a difference. So what I would recommend is you actually look into running without an either pulley. So if you're getting that whine noise and it's coming from the front of your engine, check this first, and then recommend looking into just running without one. I think there's plenty of tension up there. Correct me if I'm wrong, comment if you think that you absolutely need one of these, but I think it's just a redundant part on the front of the truck. So if you have any other insider information on the 1FZ, let me know, but I'm probably going to look at deleting this in the future. So yeah, so please let me know if you have any additional information or anything else you'd like to see, but please subscribe. There's going to be more little videos like this to make your Landcruiser perfect, and then also other vehicles we'll be working on in the future. So thanks for listening, and get after it.